Is your life filled with chaos and you're looking for ways to bring your tempo of life down from chaos to cool to calm to chill? Well, I'm here to tell you and model for you, at least give you some examples of how I do it, and also give you a glimpse of my day, which goes pretty chill most of the time. You want to know how a fool gets it done? Well, I'm here to show you how I get it done, at least how this fool does it. I use that term kind of as a term of endearment. My wife and I use it together. She'll say, "What's up, fool?" I'll say, "You know it, fool." So we just kind of go back and forth with that. And just in case you're not familiar with that terminology, now you know what it means. So I'm here to try to help you keep it 100 on this thing about keeping your anxiety down. And today, that's what we're talking about, how to go from chaos to cool to calm to chill. And today I got up this morning around 4 o'clock a.m. And my days always start out typically with a nice smooth landing on the floor after I get out of the bed. And I usually get up and make some coffee, and that way when my wife gets up by an hour or so later, it'll already be ready. She can just grab her a cup or I'll get her a cup and we just kind of go about the day. But today I got up and I was thinking about my work because I'm also a military chaplain. In addition to being a UU minister, an author, I am a military chaplain and I serve in New Mexico. And I had some tasks to get done that were lingering from last week's work, so I went ahead and knocked that out. Just getting that stuff done and getting it off my plate, that brings me down really from kind of a chaotic mind in the morning where I'm trying to figure out what am I going to do, right down to cool, because at that point I'm just kind of cool and I know that I've gotten some major stuff done. I have to report to a general, I have to report to some colonels, and that off my plate makes me feel really good about life. So after that, I just went out and headed to the gym. Went to the gym, knocked out about 2 miles of running, which really brings kind of me down to a midpoint. I ran 2 miles at a 1.5 incline, somewhere between 5.5 and 6.8 miles per hour. Did 2 miles, got a good sweat. That just kind of gets the endorphins going, but it also brings about a sense of calm because at that point I'm starting to feel like I've really exerted some energy, and that's going to kind of level me off, make me feel good in terms of the emotional high, but also relax because I have burned off some energy. That goes, now I'm already down from chaos to cool to calm. And from there, I was trying to decide what I wanted to do next with the rest of the day. I have a boat, and I was thinking about taking my boat out to the ocean. I live in California. So I was going to go out to the ocean or maybe even to the lake and just spend a few hours out there boating around. My motor had been in the shop, and I've been anxious to get it out there. And I say anxious, I mean just kind of raring and raring to go. Not, nervous type of energy around anxiety, but just this sense that when am I going to be able to get out to the water, if you know what I mean. So I came back and I did some tasks. I ran to Walmart for a few minutes to pick up some items, and believe it or not, got a chance to talk to some guys I had never met before, just in passing, talking about the ink we have. As you can see, I got a little ink on my arm. Picked this up when I was in Tahiti back in June. So we talked about that in passing, and the guy and I really established some rapport really quickly. And that made me feel even more calm, just to have that social connection and to have some common ground with a stranger. And we exchanged, some short stories, and that in itself brought me to a sense that I'm moving towards the chill zone. So I came back and I'm still thinking, how fast can I get myself together to get on the boat? And if you've ever done any boating before, you know that boating requires a lot of preparation. That means you got to get the boat ready, you got to get the trailer ready, you got to get your supplies, you got to get your gear, your tackle, fishing rods, safety gear. All that has to be put together and prepared to go out into the water. I live at the closest about 15 minutes from a nice lake, and then I live about 40 minutes from the Santa Cruz harbor where I can go out into the ocean and do some fishing for stuff like halibut or rockfish. And that was what I really had in mind, because tomorrow I'm supposed to be in a fishing tournament for halibut. But then I realized I had this conflict with something at church. So that gave me a little bit of anxiety as I was trying to figure out which one am I going to do. But for the morning, I'm just trying to figure out, can I get to the water? Well, I got back and had another cup of coffee, and my wife was up moving around, and decided I'm not going to do either of those. I'm going to spend some time doing some self-care in the form of learning, because I've been wanting to learn how to do video editing, which is no easy task. So I sat there at my computer, had my PC, had my Mac, my iPad mini, my phone, all kinds of gear to kind of get this thing going, and realized this is not as easy a task as I would like it to be. So I'm watching some videos from YouTube trying to figure this out, and I'm really just getting a bit frustrated because I'm trying to do this new software, iMovie, without any real training or instruction. So finally, I find a good video that really breaks it down in about 10 minutes. And that just really makes me feel like I've done the right thing for the day. So now I'm still kind of in this chill mode, and I'm feeling productive, and I am just kind of going through the paces on this software. And then I realized it's time for a break. So I took a break. By this time, it's around 11 o'clock. So I've been up 7 hours already. Can you believe it? 7 hours? And those are the things that I had gotten accomplished. Now, I'm thinking, it's getting kind of warm out there, even though in California this time of the year is still relatively cool compared to the rest of the country. Here, we're still in the 70s and maybe the 80s. And I'm thinking, man, it might be a little late to get out there now, because typically you want to get out in the morning. That's when the bite is good. So I decide, well, I'm just going to probably postpone my trip to the ocean, maybe go to the lake. But before I do that, I want to say something do something to myself or for myself that I had committed to when I got back from my most recent trip, which was to Alaska. And I had said I was going to work on my publishing career. So I said to myself today, there's no fish out there. In California, we get sorry fishing, honestly. For all the water we have, the fishing kind of sucks. And I'm going to be honest with you about that. I go out there all the time, and I'm spending hours. I'm not catching any fish. So I said, why don't I just make this day more productive? And that's what I did. So I just sat down and did some more work on the PC. And by that time, my wife had taken off going to run some errands of her own. So I'm feeling like I got the place to myself. I can just take it easy. But now it's still, at the current time, around 12:30. It's really too late to go out to the lake, because the lake is going to be hot by now, because we live inland where it's warm, whereas if I go down to the ocean, which is at Santa Cruz, as I said, it's cool. It's usually about 10 to 15 degrees cooler down there. So now I decided I'm just going to chill. I go back and follow up on my Air Force work. And then as I'm taking my shower, I say, well, maybe I'll just spend some time taking the day easy. It's my day off from work. I work for a church, lead a church here in San Jose. And maybe I can just sit here on a Friday and read the New York Times, which I get every Sunday. And it has some great stuff in it already. Just assuming that intention to read the paper rather than running out and doing stuff brings me to another level of chill, because now I have inside of me brought down my emotional temperature so that I can just relax. And now that's what I'm gonna do. I still haven't had anything to eat today, so perhaps I'll grab me some salmon from our trip to Alaska and munch on that for a little while, and then grab the paper and just kind of dig into the latest news from Sunday, which is always pretty good, and it helps me feel like I am alert and aware and conscious and paying attention, and I'm mindful about the world around me, which makes me feel good about the world inside of me. So that's where I think I'm gonna leave you today, is giving you a picture of how I went from a low-level state of chaos to a state of being cool, and then from calm to now chill. I hope that this has given you some sense of what it might look like for you, what the possibilities are. Some people will say, well, that's your life. I don't have the life that you have. I'm not traveling around the globe. I'm not traveling around the states. I got to be in the office sitting down every day with this nagging boss, or I got kids, or I got a spouse, or some fool like a boyfriend who is not treating me right. Those things are real. I want to say, but inside of you, you have to maintain that sense of calm, that sense of chill, to keep the anxiety off your back. You got to do it. You got to find a way to put yourself into that mindset that changes how you feel about you. And that's what this is all about, is how do you go from chaos to cool to calm to chill. I hope this content has helped you in some way, at least just giving you an idea of how things run for me. And if it did, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. It makes all the difference in the world. So again, it's Friday, and I'm hoping that you have a great weekend this weekend, and stay chill. Out of here.